All right, so today we are with Dave Seeger, who had the hang loose four-wheel drive mod truck. So I'm going to hold this up here for a quick reference. So do you still have that truck?
No, that's sold, and we're on our fourth truck that we built now. We still have the last one, which is also called Hang Loose, and that's a 2002 GMC body, and we built in 2002.
Okay, so you have a newer version of it.
Correct.
Cool. So we'll get to see that later?
Yes.
All right. How does little Dave, as a boy, get to pulling trucks? How does that happen?
Well, short story, I guess. I started out drag racing for like a year, and
How old were you about?
that was back in, I was like 19, 20. After out of high school, became a Chevrolet mechanic, went to General Motors Training Center and worked at a Chevrolet dealership for 4 years. And I loved big trucks, so I wanted to go trucking, and wound up trading my 64 Chevrolet SS 409 that I drag raced for a year and about wore out 24,000 miles. Traded that in on my first 10 Chevrolet dump truck that had a 409 engine in it. And from there, we were in the trucking business for 52 years.
Oh, so you mainly did trucking.
And then during that time, a friend of mine was racing modified stock cars, so I helped him build a new modified stock car and helped him for a season racing that. And then another good friend of mine was racing sportsman stock cars in our local area here. So we rebuilt his 57 Chevy to go racing, and then we built a brand new car and went racing with that for like 2 years. But I was getting tired of fixing the sheet metal on it from, beating and banging and racing all the time. So I decided, or we both quit doing it, and I decided to go truck pulling.
What made you do that? Was it like just something starting out, or how did that come about?
Well, I was always in the trucks and good friends with Five Corners GMC, and they helped us all along with sponsorship on the truck deal.
Okay.
So started pulling stock four-wheel drive pickup trucks, but then it got to the point where didn't have any set rules and regulations, and everybody was cheating supposedly. So I thought the only way to get out of this is to join a sanctioned truck pulling association, which was Tri-State Truck Pullers at that time.
And that's what this is, right?
Yeah. And that
What
was
year was that about?
in 1980.
Was it
late 70s?
Oh, what?
Late 70s already, yes. But all their shows were down in Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa. So I talked to them about selling some shows in Wisconsin, so they made me Northern President, Tri-State.
You were the president?
Northern President, just for Wisconsin.
Okay, because the tri-state was Wisconsin, Illinois, and...
Originally it was only Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri.
Oh, that's right. They had to bring in Wisconsin later for blood.
But we were trying to get more Wisconsin shows, and that's when we started Pullers Incorporated.
Yeah, I want to hear about that. So, well, anything else with Tri-State first? Was it modified trucks?
Modified and super stock,
Okay.
and just the two truck classes, what they were in.
No tractors?
No tractors.
And you were telling me a story that you started to start the truck class because that they had some tractor pull and they wouldn't let trucks in?
Yeah, Wisconsin Tractor Pullers Association, which was NTPA, didn't have a truck class, or didn't pull, sanctioned truck, four-wheel drive trucks. So Bud Jasky and I talked to Wisconsin Tractor Pullers about having truck class, four-wheel drive truck class, but the tractor guys wanted to hook, 2, 3 times in the same show, different weight classes, and thought our adding a truck class was going to interfere, with their
Then running.
pulling,
Yeah.
So they didn't want anything to do with it. And so when Hunter bought our first 71 GMC that we built, mod four-wheel drive, and that was after when we built our second one, which was a 1981 GMC. So him and I became good friends, and we got together and started Pullers Inc. And that was in 1985.
85.
Yep.
Okay.
And from there, we pulled more of our own. I don't remember doing. We still did tri-state shows. We did ourselves, but our Wisconsin shows were under Pullers Incorporated at that time.
It all switched over, sort of.
Yeah, to start with, we had 10 Wisconsin mod four-wheel drives and 6 out of Illinois. And also, we called it a street modified class at the beginning, but it was a super stock four-wheel drive class. So
Do you remember some of the names of the tri-state guys?
Ray Harker, Dan Dubes,
Oh, Dan Dubes.
Wally Harville, Brummels with Orange Crush.
Hunters. Then.
Yeah,
Ray.
well, Len Hunter was from Wisconsin, but don't want to forget anybody, but
Yeah. Well,
those were the closest ones,
Yeah.
on the northern end of Illinois. They, gladly came up into Wisconsin.
now the PI thing, you had a list of what? Was it 20 guys or something like that? Or is it more than that?
As it kept growing, or we kept getting more members, but basically we had probably 12 that were compete with us, on a regular basis in Pullers Incorporated. And, some of them were pulled with Wisconsin. After the fact, Wisconsin tractor pullers did recognize or sanction their four-wheel drive truck classes also at their tractor shows. And I don't remember what year that started or whatever, but you had to belong to NTPA or, to do that. And some of the main guys, Tom Mankey, his son Mike, still pulling today, NTPA. Yeah. They pulled with us with Pullers Inc. originally also. Sid Potraz and his brother Lonnie Potraz, 2 trucks, and there was one out of a Dodge out of Green Bay, Rolly Pete, Screaming Demon it was called. And there was several other, trucks in our area that pulled with Pullers Inc.
Butch Ryan.
Butch Ryan?
Butch Ryan, Sapphire.
Yeah, Butch Ryan Sapphire was called.
And is it Pullers Inc.? Is that what you call it, or just PI?
It was PI Pullers Inc. and now it's PI Motorsports.
And it's still around.
Same, 40 years we're celebrating this year.
And then you were saying you just went to
their meeting
yesterday,
on
right?
Saturday, yesterday, and because through the grapevine, the new president didn't know who I was, but some of the original guys, tractor guys, are still pulling with them, and truck guys, super stock trucks. They don't have any mod truck class, just super stock. And
no mod truck class?
No.
Really? And that's what it started out as?
Yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
Yeah. We lost quite a few mod guys that retired or, sold stuff, and then some of the super stock guys jumped into the mod classes to fill the class out, and
with a second truck, or just jumped in?
Same truck, put CPEC tires on it, big tires instead of their street tire, DOT tires.
They must have had a pretty hard uphill battle, though.
It depended on the track conditions still. It was, they could beat us, which got to be
problem.
making it not look that big of a difference in between the mod, true modified
Super stock.
four-wheel drive and a super stock mod truck.
Yep.
Because one could beat the other one, the super stock could beat us,
I saw a video recently of this guy in Virginia. It was back in like late 80s, I think. Mad Dog. And he put his super stock in with the mod guys and he beat them.
Yeah.
Well, Richard, this sets up a unique situation. Ford and Chevrolet, the old-time battle, but super stock Chevrolet, 370 cubic inch, he's going to take the first shot, then the Ford's got to go after him. Listen to the RPM. Oh, he left the start line perfect, Richard. Ground speed starts to come in for him. The Chevrolet people are on their feet. Aaron Mobley's Mad Dog's making a beautiful run.
159.30, he nailed it. Here comes Crawford and the Ford Bandit chases that little bitty super stock Chevy.
Actions speak louder than words, and tonight, Chevrolet takes the win with a 159. The Ford goes a 153, a major upset, Richard Lee.
An upset because it was a little super stock 4x4 that came in here and knocked off the big old modified 4x4's your winner, Aaron Mobley, and a Chevrolet over the Ford of Roger Crawford.
Like we said, if you believe in Cinderella stories, there's one going on tonight. Congratulations. It looked like you're going to take his win out of here. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's something I've looked forward for years, and it's just something I can't explain. There's always been a question as to whether or not super stock trucks can run with the modified trucks. I don't think it's going to be a question anymore. Well, when I came here, it looked like a good track, and I didn't think I could do it, so I geared my truck down and brought her out hard, and it worked.
Well, Roger Crawford's Ford was second, and Aaron Mobley, the little super stock Chevrolet, won it tonight.
Well, that's like one of our deals pulling at Toma. Toma didn't have the truck classes in NTPA at that time either. And we sold them, or they used tri-state rules or whatever, and they ran a super mod class too, the blown truck class, with the mod four-wheel drive class. Well, Bud Jaskey won the mod four-wheel drive class. We were second, and Bud put blower motor in and stretched the axle, wheelbase back to run the super mod class. And I jumped in the super mod class. Rolly Pete from Wisconsin, Screaming Demon, had a blown Hemi motor in his Dodge, and we beat him. We were on up second in the super mod class.
So you made a super mod also? Or you drove somebody else's?
We just put our modified in with the super mod with the blown motor class.
Did you add a blower too, like Bud did?
No.
Oh, they let you do it without the blower?
Regular wheelbase, same deal.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that obviously didn't suit too good with Rolly with the blown motor because we wound up beating him.
Oh, boy.
And I don't really remember how many trucks were in the class, but I think the rest of them were just naturally aspirated also that jumped in the class to fill the class out.
Because it was just by weight, really, right?
Yeah. So sometimes you get lucky,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So do you still drive any of them today?
No, because it's like 12 years ago or so that we really quit pulling.
Okay.
And this was right after we had broke the motor in our latest truck, and my son owned the motor. He had it totally redone again, and new crank, new rods, new pistons, new camshaft, because it broke a rod in the original motor. We could save the block, but basically the rest of it, except the heads, were hurt. And put brand new Pitbull cut tires on it with new rims, and we made one hook on it down at Pecatonica, Illinois. And truck hooked up so good, about halfway out, 150 feet, there was a little dip in the track, and he couldn't steer it, and it made a sharp right turn. By the time he got out of it, and the sled pushing him was up against the concrete blocks on the side of the track. Didn't hurt nothing except bent the knocked the tail light out of the rear quarter panel on the box and bent the frame rail in a little bit on the.
So how many versions of the truck did you have?
We built 4 of our own.
Really?
The last version was just new sheet metal on the 3rd chassis that we built, completely new. And that was in 2002, I believe. And that's the truck we still have now.
Okay.
And we built a van, 4-wheel drive van for a friend of mine from Milwaukee, originally Rocky and Grelly. And there's some pictures in there of that.
Okay.
And the original truck that Len Hunter bought, from us in '71. So
that was the animal truck was your original truck?
Yes.
Okay. And so that was a 71?
Yep.
That was your first truck, first mod?
Yep.
What did you run for an engine and trans and all that stuff?
The original one was a 482 big block Chevy. And Chevy 4-speed transmission and transfer case.
All stock stuff? Really?
And then we wound up putting military front end and rear end in the second truck we built.
Okay.
Out of an Army 6x6 deal,
Like 2.5 ton axles?
Right.
Yeah.
And their transfer case also out of the military.
Oh, wow.
Big. Yeah. And
That was the 82, 81?
and the 81, yes.
Okay. So then that should be pretty well set then, right?
Yep.
Was that a stock frame on that one?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. I'm surprised it would hold up to that.
Yeah, it used to bend in the middle, and guys would keep telling me, well, you got to reinforce that. And I says, no, that keeps the front end on the ground when it would, front end stay down, and you could see the box and the cab separate, coming down.
Did
it hooked up.
Did it ever break on you?
It did after I sold it.
Okay.
Ron Lindner got it up in northern Wisconsin, upper Michigan deal.
Oh, that's where it went to.
Yeah.
This one we showed you.
Yeah.
So what was the third truck version then?
The third truck was a complete new frame, and it was just before NTPA allowed tube frames. So
Okay.
at their rules, they had to have a straight or stock pickup type frame. So we used the frame out of it was an international step van, like a UPS truck, bakery truck,
Yeah.
because it was perfectly straight, but it was the same width and same dimensions basically as a pickup frame. And from there we, trussed that with tubing and stuff and tried air ride suspension under the front end,
Really?
2 airbags. That didn't work. And we went back to stock car springs and individually on the front end. And
Okay.
our first year we had it all, we had some learning experience to make it work, stick to the ground. And that truck originally had a 482 engine in it also, and but that has a profab reverser and profab transfer case. And we had the military stuff in it originally, front and rear, but we kept taking the ring and pinion out of the rear end, so we wound up building a Rockwell F106.
Right. That's what a lot of guys were running at the time, right?
And it had a Detroit locker in the front end, for positive traction lockup deal. And
the third one, did you use the same body?
no, the third one we had in a 90 version sheet metal,
90s,
GMC
okay.
sheet metal in it. Yeah.
And then the fourth one, the one you still have now.
That one was
It's
the
like
same. That was the chassis took the older 90 version sheet metal off because they had changed in 2001 or 2. It was 2002. Denali front end and hood and quarter panels. We used the same cab, But our sponsor, Five Corners GMC, was happy to support us with the new sheet metal to
Nice.
update it.
And that's the one you have out in the
Yeah.
shop now. Is your son drive it or?
He used to, and then he broke his back, so he couldn't bounce around in the truck anymore. And I guess we both kind of lost interest to the point, you know,
Okay.
and lost spending money on it anymore because it wasn't getting any cheaper. And it seemed like the prize money kind of almost was the same as it was back in the 80s when our heydays when we were, you know, starting out. In 1984 was our best year, you know, that we did. And
How did the truck get its name?
that's on that letter I gave you there also. Wife and I were lucky enough to go to Hawaii on vacation, and everything in Hawaii was the hang loose. Everybody say hang loose to you or give you the hand signal because it meant their explanation of it was no get uptight. Instead of saying have a good day or whatever,
Just-
you know, no get uptight, you know, they give you the hand signal. She said, well, that'd be a good name for the truck. And that's what we started with, and that's what we stuck with.
And then you showed me a picture of the weight box
Yeah.
built like that, and it was what, 900 pounds? you
900
said?
pounds slab of steel that we had cut out in the hand shape, you know.
How thick is that thing?
It's good 4 inches.
4.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And could you add weights onto that too if you wanted?
We still added, there's one or two 75-pound weights behind it, you know, tractor weights. So we didn't want to make it overkill completely, that it was too heavy when we were, you know, because we were kind of guesstimating how much we could do. So, yeah, you can still add, you can subtract,
Right.
you know, a couple 100 pounds
Yeah,
to get into 6,200 pound.
You were a truck driver, right? Did you own the company? Like the
Yes,
truck-
we had up to 9 trucks, 8 drivers at one time. I drove and or fixed whatever truck was needed fixing.
So what made you keep going? Just the fun of it and the people, or?
The people, basically.
Yeah.
Out of all the motorsport stuff I was in or tried doing, pulling people are the friendliest, the most helpful, get along with, you know, one's willing to help the other one. If you had a problem at a pull someplace, they want you to compete, and, you know, whether you beat them or behind them, you know, they'll gladly help you.
Who were your best friends during this time?
Well, Bud Jasky and I were good friends forever. Tom Mankey and Sid Potraz and Lynn Hunter, obviously, because we started the pulling thing together, and Ray Harker, Dan Dubes, Wally Harble,
Rummels.
Brummels.
And you guys would see each other every week, right?
Yeah.
At the pulls and.
Yep. And we look forward to doing that, you know.
What I'm curious, like you probably like all the other guys. Like, what was your schedule? How did you make it work with working and?
Well, since I was the boss, we could take off on a Friday or whatever to travel if we had to go any distance to get someplace for a weekend show or 2-day show kind of thing. And we had some midweek shows too, where you know, you had to get there if it was a evening show, and it took you 2-hour driving time to get there, and you had to be there an hour before at least to set up. And that was if it wasn't a PI show that we sold to, there we had to be there half a day earlier to try to make sure all the track was in shape to pull on, and they had enough maintenance vehicles to take care of the track. And thankfully my wife and Len's wife did all the registering and scorekeeping, and you know, it was a lot
She's
of
here. We gotta bring her in. You wanna
it was
come
a lot
inside?
of work.
Sure.
Without the women, it had its ups and downs, but more ups than downs. And
What year did you start?
with the modified sanction trucks or whatever was like 1971 or 2.
Up until, what, 2000 something?
2013, I believe. Yeah, it was when we had the last motor and done, you know.
You started in 71.
Yeah.
Wow.
And before that, I was pulling just stock trucks, you know, county fair
So
kind of
what
thing.
year was that about?
Well, I was in.
Was Runwood, no.
We got
Runwood
married.
to Brum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Street,
got
right off
married
the
in
street, right?
'69, so it was 70, 71.
Okay. So you jumped into it pretty quick.
Yeah, because when we got married in '69, and we built our first new '57 Chevy Sportsman stock car in our shop that we built by the house, which I fell off, or scaffolding fell off of the thing when we were building it, and I hit the ground, landed on my rear, and broke my back. So I was laid up for half a year with it in a cast, body cast and stuff, and
And that was like 70-ish?
71.
71,
Yeah, it was just
same year, you know, after that, we kind of got out, after we raced the sportsman stock car for 2 years or whatever, and then the build 73, I think, is actually the year that we built the 71 modified instead of, you know, it was a 71 body or 71 truck.
And speaking of that 71, that turned into the Animal?
Yes.
And then, is that truck still around?
I honestly
You know?
don't know. Len had started building his own frames after a while, and I thought he put the sheet metal and components off of that truck into the new chassis that he built. And then he had it for the longest time, and I don't remember, his son John was driving it,
Right.
and our son Jarrett was driving our truck, and Dan's son Jason was driving his truck, and
Okay.
so the three J's would get together and be kind of a competition between the three of them, you know. So we
I
had
think
good.
they started driving at 14, didn't they? Was Jason, Jarrett, and
Pulling?
Yeah,
14?
exhibition kind of thing at the end of our sanction class. Then we'd let the three youngsters go
Just
for
go
it.
for it?
Yeah,
Do you miss it?
I miss the people. I really do.
Yeah.
Because we made a lot of friends and good friends. I don't miss working on the truck every night because I was still working for a living, driving truck during the day or wrenching on one of the big trucks. And don't miss trash and everything to get ready to load up and hit the road to get someplace on the weekends. And but once you got there and unloaded and ready to go, then
the tension.
the good times, you know, came in again, and got to talk to the rest of the pullers and stuff, and during the show, and watch what everybody else was doing. And
So, like, since you said tension, that makes me think about, like, when you got to an arena, was it like a nightmare to try to find out, okay, what door are we going in? Where are we unloading? Like, how do you get it into the arena? Like, how did all that work?
well, yes and no, but most of the big ones, you just kind of followed the procession, you know. Like Pontiac Silverdome probably was one of my biggest impression of a indoor pull, where you ran the tractor trailer, the semis right in the building. You go in one door, they'd close that door before they'd open up the inside door, because the roof was air held it up, you know. It was a canvas roof or whatever.
Yeah.
And you drive inside and you could turn around the tractor trailers, unload the stuff inside, and then take the semi back out again. Had 2 tracks built inside the stadium,
That's so
2
bad.
sleds and a third sled for a backup in case one broke. And they told us after the fact, they had 76,000 people there. That was the most people they ever had in the arena, minus a football game.
Yeah.
And it was great, you know. And if I remember correctly, we wound up third in that show.
In the Silverdome?
Yeah.
Really?
And either Orange Crush or maybe Baby or both of the Orange Fords were first and second, if I remember right.
Okay.
With 604 cubic inches. And now staging in lane number 1, this is Hang Loose, Dave Seeger from Cedarsburg, Wisconsin, an 89 GMC. He has the 482 Chevy engine. Hang Loose in lane 1, Fool's Gold in lane 2. But still, the first one down the lane has been the quickest. That was Perpetual Motion. Here they come. Late in round 1, all the drivers having some difficulty making the full pull. Hang Loose, it is a full pull. And it looks like a full pull for Fool's Gold. So neither one of these drivers will have a chance now in the first round to move into the top 3. The quick one so far is still the Perpetual Motion.
So when you guys first started, you no seatbelts, no helmet, none of that stuff, right?
Right.
When they started
No
bringing
Hans.
it, no Hans, no nothing, right?
Right.
I'm sure we got pictures we'll see
Yeah.
later of that, right? So,
A baseball cap.
right,
I used to smoke a cigar when I was pulling,
Yeah.
going down the track.
right. Did it make you upset when they started bringing all these rules in, or was that part of PI was bringing in rules, or?
Right. And there we required a helmet, but we didn't have a fire suit required, I don't believe, in the beginning, you know. But even with NTPA, you had helmet, but we never had a fire suit at that time.
Right.
Back in '84 when we pulled down in Orlando, Florida.
What about worst breakdowns on the road? Any
We
nightmares?
really never had any
Really?
catastrophe stuff or whatever, you know.
Okay.
Some tire issues and that on the trailer. Had like white spoke wheels on the trailer to begin with, and wound up going back to stock GM pickup rims because the rims would split or start, you know, leaking air, and obviously tire blowout once the tire started leaking, you know, or air started leaking. But really nothing that I remember we had to get a wrecker or anybody to get us off of the road, you know, type of thing. Plus, if we went longer distances, especially that Arizona trip, we caravan kind of convoyed together, you know,
With the guys.
and there's some pictures in there where it showed us we're in Arizona, you know, on like a rest area kind of thing with
Yeah.
half a dozen haulers and trucks on the back. And
That's probably safer anyways, right? Because if somebody
Yeah.
breaks down, you can help each other and
another
get around.
highlight of Arizona, you're talking, when we were pulling, I broke a military transfer case in the truck. And so the guys, this was a 2-day show, and I think it was a Friday and Saturday maybe, because we were able to go, there was a Army surplus junkyard in the desert. It had more airplanes than I'd never seen in my life lined up in this junkyard, but he also had all the military stuff. And we went to that with somebody else's pickup, and looking for Army 6x6 we could get a transfer case out of. And the guy says, yeah, I go shopping, go look around and find it. But he says, before you pick anything up, he says, make sure there ain't a rattlesnake underneath the thing. You know? So it was kind of interesting, part shopping in the junkyard where you had to worry about rattlesnakes being in or under anything, you know, you're looking for.
Did you guys have to pull it too? Was it like in a truck? You got to pull it out of the 6x6?
They hauled it up to their office or shop area
pulled it.
and torched the
Okay.
thing out. You know, we could unbolt what we didn't want and leave there and load up the rest of it and go back and put that in, you know, in place of the one we broke.
Well, what does that weigh? 500 pounds?
Oh, it was heavy. It was big, yeah.
So what are your best memories of this whole time? Like,
Basically, all the pullers people that we met and their families. I mean, we had most of them had kids along. You know, we had our son was young to start with at that time, and he was born in '69. He's 54 now. I don't know, and they got along good together, got to be friends, and the women all got along together, and
We've made lifelong friends
You know.
through pulling.
I bet.
Yeah.
if it was, especially it was a 2-day show or what, and we were able to, we just camp in the pit area overnight for the next show, so there was a little bit of partying going on, and everybody enjoyed having a couple of adult beverages.
Yeah, why not, right?
So
That's cool.
that was a good part of it.
What about, you don't have to name any names, but what was like some of the best cheating stories you heard of? You got any of those?
Cheating?
Cheating stories.
Nobody cheats.
Nobody cheats? Okay, yeah.
Unlikely.
No.
And they
There
think
It was
was,
just something you heard about. I heard this one guy did this one time, and
well, there was one fella that pulled out of Illinois with Tri-State. He had a Ford truck. That's all I'll say. But,
don't go any further.
did very well above everybody else, but he took the truck home at night, because he lived close by, and come back in the morning, with the truck. Well, back in the days, you had a weigh in all the time, but if you weighed in the first day or whatever, you were good to go.
Oh man,
And
that's a
I
problem.
believe it was the second day or whatever, he did exceptionally well over everybody else. So they reweighed him
10,000 pounds.
a lot, because he had switched tires, and the tires he put on were full of chloride.
Oh,
So
chloride. What would that?
chloride,
do?
like
Just liquid.
it's like and filling up with water. At that time, it possibly was just water, because they didn't have to worry about them freezing in summer. But when they put them in tractor tires for traction, year round, you got to have antifreeze, or now they put beet juice or antifreeze in them instead of the chloride rotting
Yeah.
out the rims.
So that wouldn't be illegal, but it was because he was added the weight later.
It was a 6,200 pound weight limit,
Right.
but the day before was 5,800 pounds.
Ooh. Yeah.
And
now you got 4 tires full of fluid.
yeah, so that
That's cool.
definitely gave him an advantage on the
Yeah.
traction deal.
I bet. That's cool.
But somebody protested him or whatever, and
Oh, they did.
they reweighed
And you
him.
have to pay to have torn down a little bit,
You
right?
know.
Well, back when I first started too, then the clubs used to have they call it a pump, where they pump the cylinders for cubic inch, because it was only 530 cubic inch limit for Tri-State when we first started, and then a lot of guys were running just 500, 515 cubic inches kind of thing. We ran a 482 cubic inch, but and after that, 650 cubic inches was the limit for NTPA and SRO, if I remember correctly. Most of the guys played pretty good, fair with everybody.
Because you're seeing the same guys every week. You don't want to mess that
No.
relationship up,
No.
probably, right?
Right.
Then you're known as a cheater,
Right.
and it's not gonna.
Because it wasn't that big of a money thing.
Right.
It was more
Like
being able,
bragging rights.
bragging rights, exactly.
You're putting on a
bragging
show,
rights,
right? Yeah.
And you'd beat one guy one pull, and the next pull he'd beat you, and and like Sandy, my wife, says, our local or our Pullers Inc. shows and stuff, we'd go to the show, and we're hoping to have 10, 12 mod trucks in our class, and when you get there, you could probably think in your own mind, well, 1 out of 5 or 6 that were there was likely gonna beat you or win, kind of thing.
Bud.
And But it was, it was fun when you could beat one of your buddies that, was beating you all the time too.
Did it like keep you awake at night trying to think a little like if I did this and I did this and I put this here and I put this here and like
It wasn't, it was the truck meant 90% or 80%, but the driver still you had to drive it accordingly and read the track. A lot of guys, while you're out there walking the track and have a screwdriver or a long steel rod and poking it into the track because, going crossways, and you could get lucky you could find a soft spot in the track doing that, well, I don't want to be over there because, when you hit that, you're going to lose momentum or start bouncing or do something dumb, So it gave you more pride, I guess, in trying to figure out where to be and not be. And
do you remember your last pull?
not really.
No.
I honestly don't, because my son took over driving, and I don't even remember.
How long did he drive after you stopped? Because you got till 2013, right?
No, that was when both of us.
Oh, that was both of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had to drive probably 10 years before that.
Yeah.
As full-time driver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you were still with him
Right.
each time?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So all that stuff's for sale now.
The truck too?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
All right, well, we'll get your information. And so what's up for sale? The 2002, the truck we'll see today, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And anything else, trailers or?
The 1990, I got a flyer printed up on that too. I'll give you that. The
Okay.
Volvo GMC white tractor and
Okay.
Kentucky 48-foot Kentucky 102-inch wide inside. It with ramps and all that, generator, all that stuff.
That truck's ready to go, pretty much?
Not right now. We've got the bell housing reverser clutch out of it because we're going to have it the clutch and that re-inspected again, which we never did. And other than that, the rest of it's all together.
Okay.
He's got all the rocker arms backed off now on the engine and the plugs out of it, and oiled the cylinders and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the motor was just completely done by Pfeiffer Engine Specialties in Freeport, Illinois.
Okay.
And he spent $24,000 on that, having that redone.
Just having it redone.
Yep. New crank, new rods,
Oh,
new
crank.
pistons, new
So
cams.
it's everything.
Yep. It's all brand new.
Okay. Wow.
And it's got dyno time on it and one hook.
Do you want to run it again?
I'd rather sell everything.
Then
I mean, he owns the motor, he owns the new pit bull tires and rims, which he spent $5,500 on them. And I've got used 4 C-Pex aluminum rims and
Okay.
a set of upright pulling headers, a couple of Vertex mags, some fuel pumps. Got a lot of stuff.
Lot of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So the only other question I have is pranks. Anything you can tell prank-wise that happened between the guys or?
Never.
Never? No pranks?
Never.
Baloney. Something G-rated?
There would be so many. Butch Ryan at Macville,
Oh,
where his helmet twisted.
yeah.
He forgot his helmet.
So I don't know if I gave my helmet or whose helmet he had, but he's going on the pulling track and bouncing around in the truck enough that his crash helmet got twisted.
And you couldn't see?
I couldn't see. And Sid Poltraz got Sandy had done for our awards, PI
Was that an
awards
award?
thing.
We had a musty helmet
Musty
award.
helmet award, find an old helmet someplace, and I don't know,
Painted
the
up.
one, oh, our son Jared was bouncing or something, hit his head on the roof of the truck, so she took an old helmet and glued a plunger handle on the top of the helmet, so it couldn't only go so far to hit the roof.
Oh, man.
Sid Potraz got busted by airplane radar and state patrol up in northern Wisconsin, going to a pull, you know, towing his pulling truck, and
Yeah.
so he got a ticket for speeding. So she got him a helmet with
bicycle mirrors.
bicycle mirrors hanging out to look out the window to see the airplane in the air.
Which Ryan got one.
Drilled a bunch of big holes in the side of the helmet, so if it twisted on him, you could see out the side of the
All
helmet.
four sides. And then his truck was called Sapphire, so we glued it on. Remember the days of the sweaters where he had all them big gaudy?
The big
Oh,
letters?
he had sapphires on his helmet and diamonds and everything and all for.
Short notice here, we didn't get to clean up anything.
Oh, that's all right.
Dust the stuff off.
Wow. That's for sale, huh?
Yep. Yeah, I'm asking 47,000 for it, so if I get any interest at all, I know stuff's hard to
That-
sell, but
Seems like a pretty good deal to me. I mean, good grief. 632. Fuel injected. Oh yeah, here's the
some of the shit out
here's the
of it.
400-pound. What is this? 900 pounds?
900 pounds.
900 pounds. That's got to be 3 inches thick. You can see it's all solid, right? The whole thing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, the machine shop ordered it out and, you know, gave him a print of what size we wanted and the cut, and he had it laser cut out.
Did they think you were crazy? Like, you want what? Oh man. Man, it looks really nice. And what frame is it?
Pardon?
What chassis is it?
The frame itself came out of a, I don't know, you would call it a step van.
Oh, that's right, like
a
a
bakery
UPS truck. Okay.
UPS truck.
Yeah.
And because it was all straight frame all
Mm-hmm.
the way through, or pickup frame's got the kick up and that in the back. And we added all the tubing and stuff underneath for front suspension.
Got little NASCAR jack screws on there, huh?
Yep. Yep.
So it looks like it's sitting at ride height now, or is that how you usually pull it since it's
No.
sitting on the...
We got these blocks in here, otherwise it's right down on top of the stops here to take the weight off the springs and the front tires, obviously.
Just while it's sitting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did it when we had it loaded in the trailer and stuff too. We'd jack up the front end, or we'd actually jack it up before we pulled it, winched it in the trailer.
How many speeds is it?
Just single reverse or forward reverse,
That's it.
and everything you changed in the
In your transfer case?
both had quick change.
Okay.
And that other piece is the top shield that goes over the drive line from the transfer case.
I was gonna say, you
'Cause when
wouldn't
the
want that
motor-
shaft winging right next to you,
Yeah,
would
when the
you?
motor's turning 7,500
Oh.
RPM, the drive shaft is too.
Wow.
And that body framework and stuff we all made
Mm-hmm.
to bolt sheet metal, everything to it.
It's really nice. Man. What color? That's one thing I was gonna ask you. What color is the blue? Is it a GM
It
color?
was a GM, just bright blue metallic. What other name they had on it, I don't remember. This is the military front end. The
Okay.
rear end is a Rockwell 106, F106 they call it.
They look kind of similar, don't they? Oh yeah, it's got. I see. The housing's more squared off on those.
Yep. And we couldn't, it would eat the teeth off the ring gear and the ring and pinion on the rear ends with the military. And it wasn't pinion, it was the ring gear. Because I know I tried, they said they were, the Army had them made originally or whatever, they were like over hardened or really hard.
Oh.
And somebody said, well, if you bake them, it'll take some of the hardness out of it. Well, I tried that in my wife's old stove in the kitchen one day when she was gone. After I pressure washed it, you know, cleaned it all good in the parts washer first, then pressure washed it, and, you know, the whole house and the oven smelled like pure oil after trying to cook it in there. And it didn't help the situation any. So she wasn't a happy camper with that.
Well, I can't say I haven't washed something in the dishwasher either, you know? I mean, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's for cleaning stuff. That's how I looked at it, you know?
But right now, the only oops is the taillight assemblies here. It's all good, but that got popped out when the sled
Oh, that's easy.
hit it here and pushed
Yeah.
this frame rail in a little bit.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
okay.
After you couldn't steer it or couldn't hang on to the steering wheel because you got the hand throttle in your right hand, and you had a suicide knob on the steering wheel to steer it with.
Yep.
And before you knew it, it ripped the steering wheel out of his hand, made a sharp right turn. I thought originally that right front axle broke in the thing, that the left
and
axle
torqued
just
off.
turned it, but we jacked everything up and nothing's broke in the front end. It's just
It's so cool you still have something,
yeah.
you know?
And now I'm transferring a bunch of stuff from the truck shop up here, you know, bolt or bins and storage stuff,
Parts.
from, you know, taken
Yeah.
out up there, and so everything's kind of a mess right now in here.
Hey, when you're building stuff, that's how it is, right?
Yeah.
You know? I know that.
On the back side of the weights, what I was telling you, we left some room there. You
Yep.
could hang extra weight on there.
Oh, yeah. A couple more here, too.
Yeah.
How close to 62 are you without those?
It's good at 62 right now with what's on there.
Like what's on
you know.
there? Okay. No, I love it. It's, jeez. I wish I had 47,000. I'd be in so much trouble though. It's a good thing I got a small garage because,
Yeah.
you know. Oh man. Did you drive this one at all?
Yes, to begin with, I did.
What was it like with the 632 versus what you started with?
It, we actually had the same, except we could gear it faster, you know, with the bigger motor.
Okay.
Where the 482, you had to compromise once in a while to come down a gear.
Right.
And we really had more electrical. This one worked good too, but getting the right wheel speed to keep the motor alive at the end of the run kind of thing, you know.
Did you go through a bunch of motors or?
With the 482s, we usually freshen them up every season or every 2 seasons if we were lucky, if we, you know. The big motor we had good luck with originally and then broke a rod in it.
Oh.
And then all the motors and stuff I've worked on and took apart, when I pulled the pan and looked, the rod was upside down. The crank end was stuck up underneath the piston. And there wasn't a hole in the outside of the block, but there was a hole in the oil pan.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Man.
it took the camshaft out and the crank was junk.
Everything.
You know.
Oh, when it dropped that valve?
No,
that picture?
with the rod breaking.
Oh, with the rod.
That was in the book there. Could have been from the 482.
Okay.
What originally too.
That had aluminum heads on it too, the 482?
No.
There's so much work building this. Jeez. Nice thing is it's a lot of square tubing and
You know, at the time it would have been easier almost to just build a complete tube frame, but NTPA still had rules. You had to have a truck frame to begin with. And when we got it built and started the next season, they changed the rule that you could have a complete tube frame thing. But this straight frame, worked for us too. And
you could still run with this today, right? It doesn't
Oh, yeah.
have to be tube
Oh, yeah.
frame. That's just an option now.
well, Holman Brothers, they're still running a stock frame underneath their
Are they really?
truck.
Wow.
And everything that's on it, attached to it, is all bolted on. They don't have nothing welded. So their truck still flexes.
Wow. Which,
You can't
May
see
help,
it as
right?
much in the videos, but our old truck with the stock frame, you could stick your arm in between the box and the back of the cab once in a while
When it was going?
looked that good.
that's how far it went?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh man.
And like I said, these tires got one hook on them.
They look brand new.
Yeah. New rims, new tires. And cutting them cost almost as much as the tire. K3 tires, cut them all. And,
Really?
And it cuts the sides down.
Yep.
Like here, special.
Yep.
That's a couple $100 a tire just to cut them. And all the screws and the little chrome nut covers he puts on them, all extra.
I'm sure. They'll come for free, right?
Well, we'll put it up at the end of the video. It's for sale, so
That'd be great.
see if somebody can grab it.
One thing I'm learning from talking to you guys, and you're probably 20 years older than I am, is that
And then some.
The pattern I see is hard work, lots of hard work, right, and determination, and you can pretty much do what you want to do. Is that right? And what?
And community.
And what?
Community and
Yes.
friendships.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be known of the Hang Loose team that we've cheated, that we've deliberately went out to be harmful or hurtful to somebody. I tell my guys, I didn't always go with them. With Jared, it was Jared and the other, Brian and Matt. You shake the hand of the winner and you say congratulations, but we'll be ahead of you the next time.
Yeah.
And we've always been known for being nice and helpful, and not to brag.
Yeah.
But that's how I want us to be remembered. We did work our arses off. I'll tell you, there was a lot of.
So, what advice would you give to younger guys these days? Just even in life, in general, like, is there a saying that you have, or
Remember what your mother told you,
yeah?
and make your mother proud. What would we tell them? What would you tell them? Work hard. You're gonna work. You're gonna work hard.
If
Exactly.
you're really interested in something, and that's what you want to do, and put your heart and soul into doing it, you can do it. And you can survive and be successful doing it. I never guys kid me. Well, you go golfing, or I says no, and I don't intend to go golfing because I know I'd suck trying to hit a golf ball. I'd be the worst golfer on the golf course.
I tie a snake to your pants in the back.
And I always
Prankster.
whatever I wanted to,
Oh, watch her.
thought I wanted to do, if I couldn't be successful in doing something, I'd forget about, trying to do it. I guess after I tried and it didn't work, I'd look for something different to do. And I was a gearhead all my life. High school, I wanted to have the fastest car, hottest car in high school, and I had a 57 Chevy to start with, and then I got a 59 Chevy Impala 348 tri-power 4-speed that everybody oohed and ogled over, Then I got a 64, that was after high school, 64 SS 409 Impala, and drag raced that. And so that was, I worked in a gas station every night and every weekend, so I had money to buy some speed parts to put on a stock car, make it a little better than somebody else's.
What would be the advice? We're not great advice givers.
I've done enough of these now to where I see the pattern of it. It's not just given to you, especially you guys, the SRO days like that.
There was not
just
given to us.
an immense amount of work and like no sleep and hard work.
Yeah.
And just keep going. When you break
And
something, you just keep
stress and aggravation.
Talking about
Dallas.
signing autographs or whatever,
Yeah.
I think a pull or two or younger kids come up and ask you if you were so-and-so,
And they're
and it
so
wasn't
excited.
me, but it was one of my buddies that was pulling, if they could sign his picture. Oh, sure, sign the guy's name.
Dallas, Texas, we had an indoor pool.
Yeah.
And all these little kids, are you so-and-so? Oh, yes, they are. Meanwhile, he's loading his truck and doing this. And I hope your signatures.
Are you planning on coming back again or not?
I can.
I mean, you're more than welcome to take all these other pictures and books
How many more you want
along
from
and
downstairs?
take your time, looking at it or whatever. Where do you want me?
Anywhere you want.
When they were pulling, I used to stand in the bathroom in the motorhome because I was so nervous. And I can tell the sound of our truck. And I'd be standing in the bathroom because there's a window there. And just like really nervous, And I don't drink because I probably would have had it. I know we have more.
All right, so there's Dave Seeger, everybody. So I really appreciate your time today. And thank you so much for all the stories and the pictures. And we're going to have a lot more pictures we're going to scan in and show. And appreciate your time.
I appreciate your interest in doing it for us, and I love your videos that you do put out.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to do. So it's great to meet you guys. So
Same here.
appreciate it. So
Thank you.
yep, there's Dave Seeger, everybody.